Hello and welcome to the very first episode of the Not So Daily Daily Q Show. My name is Moaz Dubinsky and I'm a news presenter. We've had a lot of exciting events happening around Education City during the first half of this spring semester. And in this episode, we're going to look back on a few of them. First up is the Creative Media Festival at Northwestern University in Qatar. This was the second annual festival and took place on the 10th of February over the course of 48 hours. This year's festival focused on the theme of legacy and promise. Student groups produced work in all areas of performance, film, poetry, and artwork. A showcase of this was then held on February the 12th, where students presented their work to the NUQ community.
What they say about Creative Media Festival is sort of true because you have
it's under a lot of pressure.
Exactly, and then you have a lot to learn and you have to be creative within a time pressure. I think it also challenges you as individual. I know we are all here in NUQ, a lot of different people from different backgrounds who are all creative, and everyone has different creativity. But once you are under pressure, it's very hard to be creative, even if you are a creative person, you know? So I think the process of coming through like in just 48 hours and managing to make something out of nothing, especially in our case when we didn't know anything about the software that we're working with or like the creative side that you're working on. I think it's very important to develop a skill to just think creatively in like short amount of time.
And now to the Backyard Battle, an event hosted by Carnegie Mellon University in Qatar that took place on the 28th of February. The event featured a variety of musical performances by students from all across Education City competing for the title.
As much as we were nervous, we won, and the crowd were like amazing, and it's just an indescribable thing.
That's all I've got for today. Be sure to check out our website for more stories. Next up is Farah with our special guest for the segment.
Thank you, Moaz, for the insight on all the different events that are happening in UC. Hello, everyone. My name is Farah Sharif, and I'm your other Not So Daily host. Today we have a very special guest and a beloved member of the Northwestern community, Patti Collins. Patti is NUQ's Health and Wellness Coordinator and is also a licensed counselor. Welcome, Patti, to our show. We're so honored to have you here.
I'm very happy to have been invited to a wonderful new show.
So today's episode is about how to get back in our groove once we are back from spring break, especially since we're on break right now. So, Patti, is it a problem that students aren't being really able to get out of that funk when they get back from spring break, winter break, or really any vacation in general?
Well, you know, when students have worked so hard up until that break, they kind of crash during spring break or winter break. And when they crash, it feels really kind of good, you know? They're letting go of all the responsibilities and deadlines and late night studying. But when they come back, there can be a feeling of dread because it's been fun to play so hard during the break. So I think it becomes an issue when students don't pay attention. You know, when they're in a funk for so long, for like 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, being able to correct the difficulty that's occurred because of that becomes more difficult. So if students can notice, if their friends can notice when they're sort of in a funk, then they can reach out and get help for that.
I mean, since you might have alluded that this isn't really much of, I mean, it is an issue, but it's quite common between students.
Right.
How are some ways that we can get ourselves out of that funk? I mean, I personally did absolutely nothing this break. So what are ways that I can improve myself, improve my productivity as soon as I get back?
Mm-hmm. That's a really good question, and I think having a plan, and I think plans are made to be fluid, not rigid. A lot of people resist making a schedule or having a self-care plan, and that's what I'm talking about, is to sit down and, maybe you want to cut out pictures from a magazine or make a list, but share it with people about how you're going to take care of yourself for the rest of the semester. And I'm not talking just about eating well and sleeping well, but I'm also talking about relationships, because relationships can be quite draining when they're not healthy. And so I encourage students to examine those relationships and learn to say no. And if they're really your friends, they'll accept that you say no. We say yes to too many things. So develop a self-care plan, for all parts of your life and share it with your friends.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Patti, for the insight and for the tips and tricks. I'm sure that a lot of us are going to need it.
Well, and we're going to offer on Wednesdays throughout the end of the semester a mindful meditation time. So if people need to come and regroup, you can come to my office on Wednesdays at 2:15.
Well, sounds exciting, and we'll see you all there, hopefully. Thank you guys for watching. We hope that some of you find these tips helpful, and let us know what works best for you. So see you again on another episode of the Not So Daily Q Show.